Confident that there is every consideration being given to the plan.
The country's budget passes through the House and now heads to the Senate.
I am in the process now of assessing the education loan guarantee scheme.
The guaranteed loan program could be reinstated. Police on the hunt for a suspect in the Abaco human smuggling tragedy. And tonight, the story of a life transformed. The Bahamas Tonight starts now.
Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Keishla Adderley. Thanks for joining us. Topping the news tonight, the budget has been passed in the House of Assembly. Prime Minister the Right Honorable Perry Christie wrapped up the debate this afternoon, referring to his mortgage relief proposal, which he says he's confident will work. Janaea Noel Ferguson has more on that and the latest government commentary on gambling and tax reform.
The government has put forth a very aggressive agenda, and according to Prime Minister Perry Christie, despite the challenges, the budget for this fiscal term will jumpstart the government's plan, paving the way for more to come. He updated parliamentarians on the mortgage relief plan, now in the discussion phase.
I'm confident that there is every consideration being given to the plan. And I'm hopeful that in short order, we will then begin to see the adherence and acceptance and implementation of it. We wait and we see, but I'm optimistic based on discussions and reasoning that we are going to have a plan that could work.
The Prime Minister also noted the importance of the Urban Renewal 2.0 program in rebuilding the country and the quality of life for many. He said his government is optimistic about what lies ahead, and those who doubt what they can do will be in for a surprise. Mr. Christie also spoke to the vexing poaching issue, announcing that a delegation will be sent to reason with the Dominican government to put an end to the raping of our waters.
So that we are able to speak constructively with the Dominicans in this regard, for there to be an understanding of the need for us to work together, our respective countries, to know that we're not going to tolerate interference, and that given the resources that we have, subject to those resources, we're going to use everything we have to prevent it in the strongest possible way.
The 2012-2013 budget, he says, represents the return of fiscal prudence and represents a solid start to the new government's programs. He added that some of that $15 million earmarked for its immediate programs will go toward identifying and providing assistance to those in distress.
This will not be a cash handout, but will be targeted at satisfying certain household commitments. So the ministers responsible for those areas are now directed to ensure that they make application for the use of part of that fund to target people who are in distress so that we may bring relevant relief to people right away.
Now, a referendum on gambling is still planned to be held, but Mr. Christie noted that if passed, Bahamians may not necessarily be able to gamble in casinos. And that promised white paper on tax reform, he says, is nearing completion.
The government will therefore soon present a detailed white paper on tax reform that sets out the proposed way forward for public consideration and discussion. The Bahamas is a service-based economy with approximately 60 to 70% of its economy being comprised of services. One of the key objectives of the reform will thus be the expansion of the tax base to cover both goods and services in an equitable manner.
The budget moves to the Senate on Friday. Janaea Noel Ferguson, ZNS News.
Also from Parliament, Minister of National Security, the Honorable Dr. Bernard Nottage, announced that many police officers, he says, were retired prematurely, will be brought back to the Royal Bahamas Police Force.
We will also be employing some of the police officers who were prematurely retired by the previous administration, but who have tremendous expertise in this area. Some of them will be brought back onto the force in order to maximize what we think will be the positive impact of this particular program.
Parliament went through the head-by-head allocations for the 2012-2013 budget this morning. During that time, Minister of Foreign Affairs Fred Mitchell suggested that the cost of passports will be reviewed.
We're looking at ways in which to reflect more accurately the cost of passports, because currently the cost of the passport actually outstrips the price that's being charged for them. So I think at some point, that has to be looked at.
The cost, the price of the passport.
The price of the passport does not reflect the actual cost of producing a passport.
Also coming out of the head-by-head, Minister of Education Jerome Fitzgerald announced the government's guaranteed loan program is under review, and he hopes that it'll be reinstated.
I am in the process now of assessing the education loan guarantee scheme with a view to seeing what would be needed to revive it. Obviously, there's a big concern with regard to members who have received the loans but have not been paying the interest, which has impacted the facility for future recipients. And so we are reviewing as.
There's some breaking news coming into the newsroom. Police have found the body of a man said to be in his early 30s to late 20s. They say he was found with no visible injuries north of Meeting Street off Hospital Lane. The man was about 5 feet 6 inches tall, is of medium build, and was found by residents of the area. Police won't speculate as to whether foul play may be involved. They say they'll wait until an autopsy is conducted to make a decision. Police are asking persons who may have friends or relatives who may be missing to contact them. In the meantime, they say they're going to continue with their investigation. Police have identified a person of interest in the Abaco human smuggling tragedy. Tonight, police are looking for 52-year-old Chanceclair Baptiste. They say he's the captain of the sunken vessel Glory Time. 11 bodies were pulled from the wreckage Monday after the vessel went down in rough seas. Baptiste stands 5 feet 10 inches tall. He's further described as bald and of medium build. Police say if you have any information about where Mr. Baptiste may be, they want you to call them at the Marsh Harbor Station, or you can call the emergency numbers 911 or 919. You can also contact Crime Stoppers. Police are still looking into that incident, and 10 people remain unaccounted for tonight. In this report, LaDawn Davis has the latest on the police investigation.
Pretty unfortunate. That's what Commissioner of Police Allison Greenslade is calling that fatal boat incident from Abaco en route to Florida. The bodies of 11 of those passengers were recovered and about 6 others are still missing. The Commissioner of Police says these activities are not condoned, and he assures the public that those involved will be prosecuted.
We have a significant loss of life, including children. It is not something we take lightly, and I can assure you it has the full attention of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, and certainly the Office of the Attorney General. I can tell you that with the greatest measure of surety.
While the Commissioner of Police did not want to prejudice the case or make any prejudgment at this early stage, he did say there are a number of persons known by police to be involved in this type of activity.
We are being cautious as we proceed with the investigation, except to tell you we're doing the due diligence to try to get to the bottom of it, both locally, regionally, and internationally, because we want to discourage that type of activity. I'm going to certainly pursue a line of questioning today with our people at the Central Detective Unit and in Abaco with a view to determining how soon we might release some information with a view to having the public assist us in bringing this person to justice.
The 11 survivors, including women and children, are still being held and questioned at the police station in Marsh Harbor, Abaco. Meantime, the search for the remaining victims continued on the high seas surrounding that northern island. LaDawn Davis, ZNS News.
Well, still to come in the Bahamas tonight, it was a big day for some students. We'll tell you why coming up.